Hey everybody, I'm here with an OOTD and a very important message. Let's get it started. Glasses, prescription, V-look, earrings, jewelry, personalized jewelry by Temu. You know I wear a lot of Temu. I mentioned that in another video. This top, so girly, so flirty. Temu. These pants. I love my harem pants. I want to say I got these from Amazon. Then I have my strappy sandals. And I got those from some just random website that popped up on my feed one day. So let's talk about our kiddos. That's my population. I love working with young people, but I need to talk to both the kiddos and the parents. And I've had a couple of conversations last week regarding our young people and their responsibility to their education. And again, I've worked with young people for a long time. Hold on one sec. I've started this video about 5 or 6 times because I'm pretty much at a loss for words. Our kiddos are in trouble. They have no clue of what's in store for them, what awaits them once they leave these protective walls of middle school and high school. Parents, I hate when I hear people say, oh, we have to do better as parents, we have to do better as Black people, we have to do better as teachers, we have to do better as a society. It's beyond that. We know, but we don't do. So it's not really a matter of doing better, because we know and we don't do. And there is no way a student can come to class an hour or come to school an hour late and there is no real consequence for it. It's almost like, oh, we're just happy the student showed up. Well, you've missed an hour of teaching. You missed an hour of lessons. You missed an hour of concepts. You missed an hour of how one idea connects to another. So, of course, the student is going to be discouraged and have feelings of inadequacy when they're not able to catch up. I had a student tell me recently that, now this is a 9th grader, I had a student tell me recently that this school thing isn't for them because it's too difficult. You're in the 9th grade with aspirations of being accepted into a college, attending a college, and successfully matriculating from a college. And you're in your 2nd, maybe 3rd week of school as a 9th grader, declaring how difficult it is, and you don't think that you can make it, and that this school thing isn't for you. But somewhere you still believe that you are college bound. What would make a student have a belief like that, such a limited belief system? So, upon working with the student a little bit further, they were sharing how they were not going to be prepared for a presentation that was the next day, how they felt overwhelmed, how they felt like, they didn't know how to put the information together to be able to present. And for me, I know where the breach in my education was, and that was poor to non-existent study habits. So, excuse me, generally speaking, that's where I always start with a student. How are you spending your time? What are your study habits? How much time are you denoting to your subject matters? And I always have the discussion that you can't let social media dominate your time, toxic behavior, toxic friends, dominate your time. Or you will be overcome. You will be insecure about being able to accomplish one of your academic goals. So after thinking about it a little bit more, the student left and went about, their way. It occurred to me that I can't expect for a student to be able to execute a better plan to approach their schoolwork without me literally demonstrating it for them. And I think that that's what it's really going to take, us literally walking side by side with some of these students, parents literally coming to these schools, sitting in a class, seeing what's being taught, seeing how their student is taking in information. And I know that sounds like a lot, but what is the alternative? Because what we're doing isn't working. So I asked the student to show me how they would approach preparing and studying for this presentation. And right off rip, that was the disconnect, because they had no idea. So when I demonstrated to the student how, if it were me, how I would approach, the task and just breaking it down. And yes, it's going to take some time, but you have to have a comprehensive way of digesting the information. Within an hour of working with that student, the student was ready for their presentation, fully confident. And I saw this light bulb go off when they realized how the work and the lesson was interconnected. A lot of this information is so foreign to our students because it is like new information they're taking in. But at the same time, once they realize that science is connected to math, math is connected to English, English is connected to history, it's all interconnected. So then you can start to see patterns and similarities in how one subject matter builds upon another. So we have to help our students make that leap. And once I was done working with the student and they felt so confident about the presentation that they were going to have to put on the next day, the student began to teach another student that came into the space because they were that confident. I'm only one person. I can help that student because I was able to tap in a little bit to get her attention. But that job actually falls on the shoulders of the parents. I know students come from a lot of different situations. I worked with students that were on probation. I've worked with parents who've lost temporary custody and guardianship over their young people. I worked in all kinds of scenarios. I worked with parents who were in halfway houses, men and women. So I know that there are a lot of moving pieces as to why a student may not get the information or the support or the resources they may need within the home. But that's still primary the parent's responsibility. At the very, very minimum, at the very, very least, a parent should be very active, very present in making sure that that student not only get to school on time, but prepared to learn. Get them there on time, making sure they are in those seats where they're supposed to be at any given time of day, making sure that they are in communication with their young people's administrators and teachers, because without those pieces moving in concert, our young people are going to be in trouble. So with my OOTD, that's my bigger message for the day. All right. Look out for our kids.